so good with when working with this. Let's say I wanted to do something like a yearbook page layout. So I'm making a new document. We'll keep it very, very simple. The size of my page, I'm just going to keep it letter size. I'm not even going to worry about changing the margins. We'll just say okay to what we have. What I want to do for my yearbook page, if we look at our pages, I'll add 2 new pages, so we got a 2-page spread. I want to have on the margin on each side the names of people, and inside of it maybe a row of 4 by 5 photos. So very, very simple. And up at the top we'll put maybe a title. If I wanted to set up my document so that I can have good margins and have everything evenly aligned, I need to be able to customize the way my pages look. If you already made a document and you need to go back and change the margins or change even the size or setup of it, the first thing you can do, I'm going to select these 2 pages. I'm actually going to do it wrong the first time, but I'm going to select these 2 pages. To change the margins, we can go to our layout and down to adjust our margins and our columns. From here, I've got preview turned on. You can see the settings for our margins. Notice that it's top and bottom. It's not left and right, but inside and outside. Inside being the inside margins are along your spine where the book would open. Outside is along the outer edges of it. So if I wanted the outside edge to say have 2-inch margins, and I chose that, you can see it gives a little more. Maybe the top of it will give it some 2 inches as well, so I can put a title up with that. The other thing I can do is within my margins, I can divide my content up into a number of columns. So if I know I want 4 columns of pictures, I can give it that many columns automatically set up. So right now I can quickly and easily know where to place the content of my page. Let's grab a picture box. If I was to click and drag, what's the quick way I can make rows and columns of picture boxes? Y'all remember the keyboard shortcut? Arrow keys, yeah. Up arrows allow me to add rows. Left and right allow me to add columns. So very quickly I've got a row and a column of this. Let's fill it in with black just so we can see what we're working with. So there's one page. I can select these, hold down my Option key, paste them over. Let's put them in the right line, the way the Lord intended. There we go. You can see it's already off, so we'll just adjust the height of those and the height of these as well. So very quickly, all I've got to do now is drop in the pictures of each person that was given to me. Let's even make a text box so I can place things on each side. Click and drag. Now I can type name 1 and their class, name 2 class, name 3 class, and name 4 class. And I'm aware that I didn't do name 2 up here. Make multiple copies of that. Since I've got my guidelines turned on, it automatically lines up nice and even, and I can even copy it over here. Hey, since it's aligned to the left over here, it's simply a matter of choosing my alignment for my type and set it to the right and put it over there. See how quickly and easily I can lay something out like this? If you did this in Photoshop, it would take forever. It'd be impossible to do it on multiple pages. Same way with Illustrator. Very, very difficult, especially to place your pictures. And let's give it a title up at the top. So large title 1. And we'll let the large title be on this side. Large title 2. Okay, so I've got a 2-page layout. Nothing spectacular about this. This is just my basic thing. Right now I've got this set for 2 different pages. The downside is if I go to make more pages, if I want to add on to it, we'll add 2 more pages, so there's 4 and 5, even 6 and 7. I've got to be able to copy over my content. Now this could be easily done. I could either recreate everything, go back in, set margins, paste everything, or I can just copy and paste. I can select all, copy it, go down here and paste it into each one. What a better idea would be is to automatically generate exactly what I want it to do. And because I know I want to have this to be on the same of all the different pages, I would love to be able to just make a page and have it automatically copy and paste. That's what this new project is going to get into. The first thing you're going to do is work with what's called a master page. Master pages, if we look in our Pages palette, are at the very top up here. They allow you to place content into your document and automatically generate it. In this case, there's a front and a back side to this document. So if I was to make a new newsletter, I would just automatically choose a front and a back. So let's make a master page for this particular document. I'll erase away what I have. I'm even going to cut this. And I'm going to select my A master up here. Just by default, it's called A master. You can call it whatever you want. We'll go up to these. The only thing I do need to set, you can see my columns and margins are not set up. So let's quickly do that. I did a 2" at the top, and 2 inches on the outside, and I set my number of columns to 4. So now it's looking exactly the same. We'll even paste my content back into here. I've been working in my master page, but check out what happens to all my other pages. It automatically places that content into there. Everywhere that there is an A master, and even when I make new pages, it automatically places that content into there. And so quickly and easily I can make hundreds, as many pages as I need, that reproduces it over and over again. That's what the essence of this project allows you to do, especially when you start off. Here's the next thing that we're going to be working with. So in this project, let's see, I want to make sure I get the right one. So it's the Aerospace newsletter. It's going to give you all the content that you need, and it's also going to give you an INDT document. This is an InDesign template. As with the master page, if you want to make something that's reusable and used over and over again, you can save your document as a template. So the next time you open it up, it automatically makes a new document that has everything already in place. When you work on a newspaper, when you work on a magazine layout, all of them have the same kinds of layouts, and you use templates to create those. If I was to open it up, the book's going to ask you not to double click on it, because if I double click, it's going to give me, first of all, a couple of errors. We won't worry about updating the links or the fonts for now. Notice the name of it. It doesn't just say newsletter, ARAA newsletter. It's an untitled document. What I want to do is actually edit not a new document, but the template itself. So I'm going to close this out. We won't worry about this or this either. Go away. We'll go to File and Open. I'm going to find it on my desktop. There's our template. So instead of opening it like normal, I actually want to edit the template that we have. There are some issues that come up, and this is a common one for several of you. First off, when I opened it up, it's saying that it's missing or modified some links. I showed you all this in the previous class. What does it mean by a missing link or a modified link? What is it talking about? Something has changed. What specifically has changed? What something?
The location
of
the file or the link.
The link, the pictures. Usually it's pictures, yes. The file or the pictures that it's at. Something's missing or something's been modified. I'm not going to update it. I'm going to keep it the same. The first thing we're going to deal with is this common problem, missing fonts. If you're working on one computer and then you move your file to another computer and that computer doesn't have the same fonts, it's going to try to replace your font with some other thing, or it's going to give you an error saying, hey, you've got a missing font to work with. If this ever comes up, there's two things you can do. First of all, I'm going to choose Find Fonts. And I can either find the existing font, ATC Collada. We didn't download it. This isn't one to use. So we're actually going to replace it with another existing font. Since I know this is the one that's the problem, I can click on it. And it's going to ask you to change it to another one. I think it's ATC Onyx. ATC. There we go. With our new font chosen, I can change all instances of it. Say change. And now everywhere on this document that I use that font, it's been changed up. We'll say done. Now when I'm looking at my document, there's not much here. There's nothing here at all. This is where we're working in our master pages. I can double click on it. Here was the font that was being used. If I zoom in, let's see if we can actually get it to highlight. There we go. That was the font. It's been changed over to this one. If I look at my images, you can see where my links are messing up as well. There is a links panel. You can find where everything is used. If it's got the triangular yellower one, you can simply double click on it and that will update the modified link. In other words, it's been changed up somehow. Hey, here's the other issue that came up. This is supposed to be a vector file, but it's not showing me in a very good quality. What do I need to change to see this in good quality? Okay, I'll give it to you. Remember, it's your display performance. If you go up to View, changing your display performance, usually in order for InDesign to save memory, it'll put things in a typical low quality. Change it to high quality, and it'll automatically change your images to what it would if it printed off. It'll still print good, whether it's in typical or high quality. The other issue that we have, let's see, these are getting in the way, is we've got a completely missing link. And it's this image right here. I know it's missing because I got a red circular one. For this one, if I was to double click on the link, error, it's going to ask me to find the image that's being missing. But in this case, rather than finding the aircraft that's there, I'm going to go to my desktop, aerospace one. I know it's going to be in my CMYK folder. We're going to change it out completely with another image. This one will be more of a space image. It doesn't have to be the same thing, it's just looking for a link that should be there. And once I replace it, high quality, there it is, nice and useful as well. When I go back to my pages, I can start using this content on all of my pages. I think the last thing that it's going to get you to do is to change up your number of columns in your paragraph. I do have a text frame in front of there. I'm going to move it away. My text frame also has columns. We'll deal with that. But as far as this goes, I can go to my layout, change up my margins. It's going to ask me to give it, I think, wider margins on one side. So we'll give it 2-inch margins and then change that to 3 columns. Say OK. If I was to put my text box back onto it, my text box still has 4 columns inside of it. So I need to actually adjust that to match the size of it. If I was to put text into my text document, remember you can go to type and fill it with some placeholder text. Automatically my text is filled with just random 4 columns of text. If I was to highlight it, to change the number of columns that you have within a text box, you can look up at the very top. Let's see, where is it? I don't see it up there. I'm going to swap over instead of my character mode. Yeah, character mode is what I should have been in. There it is right here. So number of 4, I can increase or decrease it. So there it is, 2 columns. 1 column is usually by default. Need to set it to 3 columns. Now everything that's in there is set to do that. I can even, let's actually get rid of my type, keep the text box by itself. From here, I can go back into normal page mode. Right now, my page 1 still has the 4 columns and the regular page setup. If I was to apply the A front to here, I can drag it onto page 1. Automatically it places the stuff onto page 1. If I make a new page, oops, I was in my master page. Let's go down to here. There we go. Make a new page. It's going to remember that I used a page, and so the next page that I create, page 2, is going to look exactly the same. If I keep making new pages, it'll keep adding the same look to it. What I want to do, let's get rid of page 3, is apply the back side to page 2. So page 2 automatically formatted, page 1 automatically formatted, place into that. Pretty cool. Once it's made, then it's simply a matter of changing up the content that you made and dropping in the content. For instance, if I wanted to drop in a picture or to drop in text. Here's another issue that I have. I've got a text box, or excuse me, a picture box. I can't select it, but when I go to drop in an image, in this case you're actually dropping in another InDesign file. I think it's the Angels ad. You can open it up. It does have some missing links we're going to change up. You can actually place other InDesign files within an InDesign area. But up here at the top, let's say I wanted to change the date and the volume that I have. Since it's part of a template, it's going to try to keep everything exactly the same. So I can't select, I can't change or modify anything at first. In order to select something that's part of a template, in this case I want to change the text, holding Command and Shift, I can click on it. That will unlock that one specific thing. So now I can actually highlight it and change up the date that I need it to be. 15, yada yada, as necessary. Same way with selecting pictures. I can't select this picture, can't do anything about it until I Shift and Command and click on it. Remember in your book is going to give you stuff for using a Windows computer, so it's going to say Control, Shift, and Command. It's just, don't worry about the control, it's just Shift and Command since Windows doesn't have that on there as well. The last part of this particular project deals with placing the, let's open it up, this one, oh, no, not that one. Don't update, cancel. Actually deals with placing the text inside of the area that we have. Newsletter July, there it is. Go ahead and update those links. And formatting the text, and finally placing things inside of a spreadsheet kind of an area. That's what I'll talk about in next class when we get into it. If you do reach the point where you're adding text, keep going. You can completely go through that. It's a little bit more advanced, so I want to spend more time working on that. Any questions? All cool? Okay, I'll turn it over to y'all and let y'all get started on this.